Hello, I'm Jonasz Rewiński and this is Military Mind. Armed conflicts, defense and security, land, sea and air. We've got you covered. Overnight on Sunday, the Russian military attacked Ukraine with 4 guided missiles and 136 Shahed drones, according to the Ukrainian Air Force. In the Sumy region, as a result of the attack, 2 civilians were reported wounded. 4 residents of one of the apartment buildings were injured, including a 7-year-old child. There was also a hit on a civilian facility in Sumy. Fortunately, there were no casualties when rescuers extinguished the fire, but the building was left partially destroyed. In the Dnipro region, 2 children and a man were injured in a drone strike. Now, in Russia, air defense units destroyed 11 Ukrainian drones overnight Sunday over multiple Russian regions, the Crimean Peninsula and the Black Sea, according to Russia's defense ministry. Meanwhile, Russia claimed that Ukraine attacked a training center at the Zaporizhia nuclear power plant last evening. The administration of the Russian-held facility said. It added that no critical damage was recorded. Now, of course, these statements from the Russian officials might actually need to be taken with a grain of salt, because Russia has often claimed attacks against Zaporizhia nuclear power plant, which it says stolen from Ukraine. It's been only ever since. These claims were later on actually proved to be incorrect. Now, on the front line, the Russians found a loophole east of Pokrovsk when its army wedged into Ukrainian positions in the area between Malinovka and Novotoretsk. Now, from there, Russia has managed to expand this advance and increase the pressure on Ukrainian troops. Now, in strictly tactical terms, this maneuver is an absolute textbook operation, which the Russians are already conducting on a broader scale. And that is why Ukrainian troops are now transferring quite serious resources to this wedge in order to stop and prevent a breakthrough. Meanwhile, French researcher Clément Moulion, based on satellite images of the front between Pokrovsk and Konstantinivka, has estimated that in less than 20 days between May and June, Russian aviation dropped more than 900 aerial bombs. The strikes were concentrated on the second line of defense of the Ukrainian army. It was in this area that the Russians had their most significant advance. A new air defense player has arrived in Ukraine's skies. The Ukrainian Air Force has released footage of the German anti-aircraft artillery system known as Skynex, created by Rheinmetall. Now, Skynex is a modern, short-range air defense system that uses 35mm automatic cannons with programmable ammunition. Its advantages are speed, a high degree of accuracy, and a complete resistance to enemy electronic warfare. Russian drones are increasingly being defeated before they even get close to the targets. And with each new downed drone, Skynex proves that the sky over Ukraine is gradually becoming impenetrable to the enemy.
Ціль збита. Падає. Вогонь 11.
Відкрив вогонь. Єсть. І ціль уражена.
Вогонь 12.
Застосування. Єсть, ціль уражена.
Ціль знищена. Ціль знищена.
Єсть.
12 гармата, вогонь.
12 вогонь. Єсть.
Є. Ціль знищена.
12 вогонь.
Ціль знищена.
And of course, using this type of equipment to eliminate enemy drones makes perfect sense. You will not fire a very expensive missile like the Patriot on a cheap Russian drone. Instead, you're actually downing these drones with concentrated fire. Another alternative is using relatively inexpensive interceptor drones, something that Ukraine has also been using fairly extensively during the last couple of months. Now, we're moving on to our next story. The first documented loss of a North Korean Type 75 multiple-launch rocket system in the ranks of the Russian army was recorded in the Kupiansk sector. Now, the missile launcher was destroyed by an FPV drone equipped with a system designed to drop munitions from the skies. The drone itself was operated by a soldier from the Ukrainian 1st Operational Brigade of the Burevi National Guard. The detection and destruction of this weapon is important not only tactically, but also from a strategic standpoint. It is the first confirmation of the combat use of North Korean artillery systems against Ukraine. The system itself was camouflaged, but this did not save it from an accurate airstrike. The Type 75 is an outdated but powerful system, capable of launching 122mm missiles. Its appearance on the battlefield is evidence of the growing international isolation of the Russian Federation, which is forced to buy weapons from a variety of rogue countries. And when we said this was the first time North Korean rocket artillery was destroyed in Ukraine, we mean this specific type. As you might probably remember, a couple of episodes ago, we've had another one, a self-propelled North Korean manufactured system that was destroyed by a Ukrainian drone, leading to a fairly impressive detonation. Now, we're going to move on to our next story today. A group of Ukrainian reconnaissance soldiers conducted a combat reconnaissance of Russian positions near the village of Novotoretsk in the Donetsk region. This was a high-risk operation that allowed the Ukrainian army to identify the location of enemy firing points, their number, combat readiness, and tactical features.
Давайте подавай.
Ты ж мой.
Та там само можете пустити.
Що?
And that's all for this episode of Military Mind. Next deployment at the same time tomorrow. And in the meantime, please stay with us here on TVP World.